Introducing the all-new Backsaver Swing Hopper Auger Mover. Backsavers have interchangeable parts which allows you easy access to move or swing your augers to fit your harvesting needs. Get yours today at Norwood Sales.
Our weed of the week is mare's tail. It's a Roundup resistant mare's tail. How are we going to control this thing, dear?
Well, it's a winter annual, so most of the time we're getting a start in the winter and then it's got a big taproot in the spring, so it takes a real high rate of herbicide, which in my opinion is why it's become resistant to Roundup so fast. So we're mixing in things like Sharpen. If we can use at least a 2-ounce rate of Sharpen, if it's safe
Which
for your
means
crop,
in
that's good.
corn you can do that. Soybeans you can't use a 2-ounce rate of Sharpen. Soybeans is where we have a major issue with mare's tail. Now don't give up on this thing and wait for the 2,4-D or Banville resistant beans in a couple years. You got to get it under control in 2012. So that might mean going out in the fall of 2011 and spring. You could use some 2,4-D in the fall, you could use some Banville in the fall, and then you could go in the spring, especially in the late spring, with some soybeans, and you'd probably be all right.
Well, I like combinations too, like Valor 2,4-D in the fall is a nice one that's done a good job. In the spring, I like seeing some Sencor Valor out there that does a nice job. In corn, it's pretty easy to control post-emerge if you get out early with some status. In wheat, we don't have a big issue in winter wheat because we've got some crop growing. In spring wheat, if you do some tillage just wipes out mare's tail in the spring.
Right, because again, it's a winter annual. But now let's get to the big one. Post-emerge in soybeans. What in the world are we gonna do?
Well, FlexStar Classic. I don't know if that's a real popular one for you, Brian. That's one a lot of guys are doing. Otherwise, first-rate FlexStar, either of those can be a good option for you. You're gonna need some surfactant. You're gonna need it to stick to those weeds, and you're gonna have to get out there as early as possible.
Yeah, first rate's probably the best product, then FlexStar, then Classic. So if you just wanted one product, we'd probably say first rate. But just even on this field right here a few years ago, we did a FlexStar Classic combination that I thought was pretty decent. And none of these things are going to be perfect, okay? That's why we want to get them pre-emerge. You might have to do some tillage, but otherwise we do have some decent herbicides. You just have to make sure that pre-emerge treatment is done.
Well, that's all time for our Weed of the Week, but there's more Ag PhD to come after this.